If you're sick of the mainstream sports outlets, well, so was I. So I started my own show. I'm Shane Larson, and this is the Game Time Guru. It's different than other talk shows. I'm providing a panoramic view on sports so you can see them through a different lens. So buckle up, and let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome out to episode 99 of the Game Time Guru podcast. It's not going to be that great of audio quality again today. I'm on my phone once again. That's because I didn't have time to set up my studio. We got back from Nashville yesterday. We spent 10 days in Nashville. Great experience and something that I look forward to doing again with the wifey as we enjoyed just touring downtown Nashville. And I kind of want to talk about that today, but what I also want to say is we are on episode 99. If you have not done so already, subscribe to the show. Make sure that you go to either Google Play Music if you're on an Android or Stitcher even, or go to iTunes, the Apple Podcast app if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, and just subscribe to the show. It helps me out, and it helps you out because it's going to give you notifications every time a new episode comes out for the show. Now, if you didn't catch last week's episode, it's only 10 minutes long, and it's going to be much like this one. It's going to be a shorter episode, but it was about the Alliance of American Football, the league that just started for professional football, and how I'm breaking down my analysis of that league after a few weeks of play. And I think you guys might enjoy it if you're a football fan and you're kind of on the ropes, like whether or not you like it or not. So I want you guys to go back and check it out. Subscribe to the show. Check out episode 98, which was about the Alliance of American Football. We've had some great interviews, some great discussions on this show in the last couple of months. It would be a shame if you didn't catch those. They're good for any time, too. That's the great thing about these interviews. It's you can go back and listen to them, and they're still relevant today. So check them out. We're coming up on episode 100, which will be next week, 100. So it's been amazing speaking with all my friends and family and listeners that have been following me either since the beginning or have jumped on board since then. So appreciate everybody, all the guests and everything that have supported the show, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. So what I want to talk to you guys about is my experience in Nashville, Tennessee. It was kind of cool for me as a sports fan to see Nissan Stadium. Now, that's the Titans Stadium. Now, it hasn't always been called Nissan Stadium, but that's the Titans football stadium. And walking by there and then walking up close to the stadium, my wife and I took a walk and went near the stadium on our last day there, just walking around. And it's just cool because of the history there. The Music City Miracle. And I always heard that, right? I live in Idaho. I'm on the other side of the country from Tennessee. But being there and remembering, this whole Music City Miracle, now I realize what that is. I'm like, oh, it's Music City. It's Nashville, Tennessee. The Music City Miracle, the lateral on the kickoff and everything that went behind that, and how the Bills suffered such an agonizing loss, and that was before instant replay, or no, it was like right when instant replay had started or whatever it was, and whatever happened there, and they were trying to figure out if it was truly a lateral or if it wasn't. They couldn't overturn it. It's just a crazy experience, and it was cool to be there and just think in my head, like, this is where this is the city and the area where all of this took place. I also got to see where they're going to be holding the NFL draft. And if you guys haven't been to Nashville, there's a strip. It's Broadway, a strip of about 3 or 4 blocks that are just, tons of bars. And it's just older bars, old brick buildings that just go straight down in a line. Like, it's just a couple of blocks down the road. And that's where they're going to be holding the NFL draft. And it was really cool for me to sit there and just realize, like, man, there's going to be an NFL draft literally right here. And they're going to be, taking tons of people off, just right down the streets. It's going to be about 20,000 people deep is what the man said, right down by the bars. And it's just going to be a crazy experience for them to be able to do that draft there. And it was cool, like the sports influence that's there. Another thing, though, is I've never been in a town where hockey had a major influence. And right in the middle of downtown Nashville, right off of Broadway, right off the strip. I'm talking like in the heart of downtown Nashville. The stadium where the Predators play was right there. I was bummed we didn't end up going to a Predators game. We had originally planned on doing so I could catch my first professional hockey game, an NHL game, have you. We didn't go to that. But what I did notice, guys, and this is something that I think is totally cool. It's different than where I live here in Idaho, is how many people love their hockey team. So as we're walking around downtown on, I believe it was it Monday? I believe it was Monday. We were going around downtown, and people with the opposing team's jerseys were walking by. And to me, I was like, man, that's strange. It's just a hockey game. That's what I would do for football if I was in a different city and I was walking around. I'd always wear the, my jersey in their city and stuff, and I'd have that, but it just was weird for me for hockey. And how many people were at that game? So while we were downtown during the game and right after the game ended, the bars just get packed because there were so many people at that stadium. They sell out that stadium. It's hard because the Predators are actually a very good hockey team, and so they sell out that stadium. And so everybody afterwards is just hitting up the bars late at night when the game's over. And I just thought it was so cool because I've been to Salt Lake City when the basketball games are going on, and it's a big sport there. And, I've been to Dallas at Jerry's World with the football team, and watching a Cowboys game and seeing how that goes. And it was just insane to see the difference, like a hockey influence in a city. And that's one of the things, is it was just really cool to see the sports and the growth of sports there. And one of the things I noticed is we took a Segway Tour downtown in Nashville. And if you haven't done so, I Ride Nashville. Check them out if you're ever down there. It was like $75 a person. I thought it was a little spendy, but totally worth it because you get to jump on a Segway. They'll teach you how to ride it, and then you guys go on a tour downtown. Anyways, it was really cool. It's like 2 hours long, and you get to hear like a lot of the history, go to some really cool sites that I probably would not have gone to had I not been on that tour, because I probably wouldn't have found those places or known what they were all about to begin with. So it was super cool. Anywho, so I Ride Nashville. If you ever want to go down there and check it out, check it out. Okay. Anyways, so as we're down there, take the Segway Tour, we go to the First Tennessee Park, and that's the baseball stadium for their minor league baseball organization. And it's cool to see, their minor league stadium, because it's actually a really nice stadium. See, here in Boise, we have the Boise Hawks, and this stadium is dog crap. It is absolutely disgusting, old, has a lot of history behind it. It's just been there for a while. But it's not very nice. I actually got to do the ceremonial first pitch for one of the Boise Hawks games this last year. Cool experience. But like the stadium's just disgusting. But just going over to, we're in downtown Nashville and we see that baseball stadium, and I'm reading the history of baseball in the city of Nashville. And although it's not an MLB team, it's crazy to see the history of baseball behind everything in Nashville, Tennessee. And it talks about, there's little posts that discuss the history of baseball and where it all started, and the Negro leagues that were playing in Nashville. And I don't mean that in any way disrespectful. I thought it was super cool to hear about the Negro leagues that were playing there back in the olden days, and then baseball was taken away, and then, when it came back, and I was reading every post on the timeline of how it all went down, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, man, that was right here, all this history right here surrounding baseball. And I guess back then as well, there was a story of Babe Ruth coming over there for an exhibition game, and that specific stadium back in the day had a hill out in right field. So the outfield wall went up as a hill. So if you're a right fielder, you actually had to run up a hill to get to the wall if there was a fly ball out there, which is insane for me to think about. That was even legal. It was even legal for you to have that. I guess it was just back in the day in baseball. You just played with the cards that you were dealt. You know what I mean? But I guess Babe Ruth we learned this on the tour. Babe Ruth was coming here for an exhibition game, saw that there was a hill that he had to run up, didn't want to do it, so he told his coach he was just going to play first base, and he did while he came here. But I just thought it was funny. There's history behind it. And at that same stadium in Nashville, they have the minor league soccer team that plays there. And apparently they have a huge soccer influence, and they're going to actually have an MLS team starting up next year. So this MLS team in Nashville is going to be starting up. There's a huge soccer influence, and they're going to be playing at Nissan Stadium the first year, but they're also building a brand new soccer stadium for them. So Nashville, you get to see a hockey influence, an NFL influence, minor league baseball. Right now, a minor league soccer team, but it's going to be a major league soccer team as well here in a year. And just seeing how big of an influence sports has in that city. It's not just music, it is sports as well. And it was cool for me. I don't get to be around that very often. And I know a lot of people, we had a lot of friends and such that were there to stay after we went to our work event. So we all kind of extended our stay and did different things. And to me, the sports influence is super cool, just as cool as the music influence. It really is. I think it's awesome how that city was built around different things. Music being a huge influence, but then also the sports behind it, and just to see the growth of the city and how it just continues and continues and continues to grow. And when you have big cities like that, you have a different culture. There's people from all across the world, all across the country, coming for different reasons. And so you just get this unique, diverse culture. You got people who love hockey. You got people who love baseball, people who love football. It's just super cool to be around. So Nashville, Tennessee gets an A+ in my book. Just a unique city. It wasn't the cleanest city. It was old with a lot of construction. But I'll tell you what, it was a cool feeling to be out there. You'd walk around, you actually felt safe while you were out there. Just awesome. So yeah, I had a really good time in Nashville learning the sports history, and I'm kind of excited to go back there one day. I wish I would have hit up a hockey game, but I guess that leaves CC and I. CC Hockley will go to a professional hockey game with me. Hopefully that'll be my first time outside of the Idaho Steelheads. We want to go see a National Hockey League game together. He's been to a few of them. I want to make sure I go check one out. Anywho, guys, I hope you guys like the episode. It's going to be super short today because I don't want to, drown you in just a bunch of talk. But if you haven't done so already, make sure to go subscribe to my show. Show me some support. And, make sure you subscribe so you can get all the notifications for the next episodes. But you can also go back and check out prior episodes as well. If you enjoy listening to super cool interviews with different people across the sports industry, you'll love it. So I appreciate you letting me share my passion with you guys. And you know the drill. We'll talk to you next week. Guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of my show. Now, if you could go and do me a favor, head over to iTunes, give me 5 stars, and leave me a review, it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your support.